live. We're live enough, I believe. So what's going on, everybody? Friday, we're back. Yahoo Strategy Show. Jake and I, no boss man today, still making his way back from vacation over the All-Star break. He's got to take some time, and that Monday to Thursday stretch in MLB All-Star time is the perfect time to do it. He's got a lot on his plate normally, and when the lobbies are empty, that's probably a good spot for him to get out of there. Jake, how was your All-Star break?
It was good, man. I worked on NHL projections and just like trying to gear up for NHL season, which just ended like a month ago. I think today, like June 12th might have been the last game. But yeah, I'm just excited for the upcoming sports more than anything, but also excited to close out in baseball. I finally felt like I was doing some good things towards the tail end of that second half. So looking to carry that into this last what, 2 months, 2.5 months.
Yeah, 2.5 months, something in that neighborhood. And then we've got football and basketball and hockey, and we do it all over again.
Did you start doing football prep?
No, I did not.
What'd you do?
A lot of stuff at this house, honestly.
Okay.
Just getting it prepared. Trying to sell this bad boy. The plan, at least.
Yeah.
I did look at some NBA stuff, though, so I guess you and I were both going back to our wheelhouses.
Yeah.
I started grabbing a bunch of data from last year to start prepping for this coming season, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Yahoo DFS, they are the presenting sponsor here. We do this show every Friday to talk about them. Specifically, I've already dropped Emacs Yahoo article into the channel. If you want to sign up at Yahoo, there's a link inside that article. You can click that link and use the promo code AWESEMO, get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points. Allows you to get into the best contest in the industry every single day. $3 no management fee. I believe it filled before today started. It was gone before we even started the show this morning. So that's what happens when there's a little bit too much time with this All-Star break. It just goes away.
Yeah, people get excited.
Yeah, it's the best contest you can get into. It should fill that fast. We have 13 games today. We have some interesting pitching price points on Yahoo, so I think that's definitely the spot where we want to start. And we'll take a look at Garrett Cole, $62. He's the most expensive pitcher by $11 over Mike Clevenger. He's $15 more expensive than the next closest guy, and he's still getting to 24% ownership. A lot of that has to do with the fact that Robbie Ray is priced in a weird way, as is Dinelson Lamet at just $30. So Garrett Cole, any reason for you to suspect that he wouldn't be your top pitcher on Yahoo today?
No, I mean, looking at the pricing today, like he's $62. Yeah, it looks like a lot, but when you look at some of these hitters, how they're priced, it's really not too difficult to make a really good lineup. And some of the pitchers too, like you can pair him with a $30 range guy and have really, really, really good lineups after that. So, no, I mean, Cole is the best pitcher on the slate. And yeah, the weather's not great, but he's the guy who can just go out and strike out everyone. So I think the ownership for him is kind of warranted. And he projects on Yahoo right now for us for Alex's projections, 6 points better than the second best pitcher, which is the biggest margin I think I've seen on a slate this big.
I think the more interesting piece of this is that the second highest projected guy on Yahoo is at $36.
Yeah, that definitely is going to change the slate quite a bit.
Yeah,
and the third projected guy is at $30. So
it's insanity. Robbie Ray, 19.6 fantasy points projected today. Second highest number, $36 salary. There are, I want to make sure I get it right, either at 36 or higher, excluding Cole, 14 guys more expensive or the same price as Robbie Ray, and he's got the second highest projection. So yeah, his 34% ownership, not super surprising today.
I thought it was going to be more, honestly. I mean, maybe if Lamet wasn't there, it would be, but yeah, those two guys are like the very, very clear SP2s really in all formats. It's looking like on Yahoo.
Yeah. We see Robbie Ray priced down on a different site. today.
Mhm.
Why do we think that is?
I don't know. I mean, I wonder if sites do this just to like make the slate more interesting. Like they probably don't, but there's something in their algorithm that says this isn't that great of a matchup, or this pitcher isn't that great, or something. I don't know if it's based on recent play. In fact, I'm going to pull up. I mean, Ray's been fine. He's been exactly what Robbie Ray has been. He's getting a lot of strikeouts. He's had a blow up performance. But it's not like, he's been terrible or anything. So it is kind of weird all of a sudden when you see these pitchers just plummet in pricing for one slate. So
this one I really just don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I can't figure it out. If it's one site, it's just like, there was probably just a mistake. But when you get two situations where Robbie Ray is priced, I don't know, $10 cheaper than he should be on this slate, is there any reason that Robbie Ray isn't the same price as Yanni Chirinos?
Right. No, there's not. There's no reason. I mean, Ray's a better strikeout pitcher, and $9 is a crazy. I think he should be, where Caleb Smith is and where Chirinos is. I think that's where he should be priced. So, what would that be? He's 25% underpriced.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And he's not the only guy. As we mentioned, Dinelson Lamet, $30. He has the third highest projection in Alex's model, and he's priced like he should be Sean Anderson or Felix Pena.
Right.
Now, he's got a scarier matchup. I kind of understand why he's there. He's young, a little bit unproven, but he's got big time stuff. But I mean, you could play Robbie Ray and Dinelson Lamet together, and I'm sure we'll do a test lineup for it. It's $66 to pitching. That's almost Garrett Cole's price.
You can just go Yankees, Rockies, Astros. I mean, you can just X out all the other teams, play all the chalk, and just hope one of those teams goes nuts. Brewers, like those two. So we should, when we make GPP lines, we should definitely do that.
I got 12 Ray Lamet lineups out of 300 when I ran my crunch, and I limited stacks and I cranked randomness to 100, so we can get like a pretty big cross section of what we would want to look at. But I even got I got 12 of them naturally, so I can only imagine what will happen if we try to force it in with some certain teams. It's going to be fantastic for them.
Yeah, it's going to be looking pretty good, I would imagine.
Actually, I might as well run 300 more while we're talking, just to have them here.
Yeah, I got 19 out of 500, so right in that same range as you.
That makes sense.
And I was I capped really low, so I had my normal caps on. So it would be way more if it was 100%. And you're prioritizing hitters.
Right. I boosted hitters just to get a little bit flatter. It's different. It's a little bit different than what I would normally do, but I do that so that we can have different things to look at, so that we don't just get completely removed from certain sections of stacks.
For sure.
We've got more guys that are like either getting interesting ownership or, I don't know, maybe more than they should, or they're priced weird. Would you have expected to see Adam Wainwright at 22% ownership today?
No. I missed that actually earlier.
Caught me off guard.
Yeah. Wainwright. I know he's had some good games lately.
I just assumed he was like $25 or something, and there was a mistake, but he's not. He's 30. Like, he's priced exactly where I would expect Adam Wainwright to be.
Right. Like, that would be a pivot if he's like 8% or whatever, and Ray is 40.
Right.
Sure, we just take him in the same price range, but it's just weird. 22%. It's not like Arizona is a phenomenal matchup or anything. It's a low implied total, I guess, but it's still 87 degrees there, and he doesn't have nearly the strikeout stuff as Ray.
Right. Yeah, I would either rather find $3 more for Ray or give back $3 and take Lamet. I have no interest in 22% owned Adam Wainwright. I don't. What year is this? Did we go through like a black hole or take a time machine during the All-Star break and we came back and it's 2008 or something?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was completely like done earlier in the season. He's actually turned it around really nicely. So he's actually been pretty decent,
Sure.
even for DFS. Like he's got a few 30+ point games in there.
I just would have never expected 22% ownership. And then we've got Caleb Smith at $45, 28% ownership, third highest owned guy. I get it. I'm totally fine with that. He projects really well in both Alex's model and my own. But just the way that this pricing is breaking out with Robbie Ray and Lamet, I'm surprised that more people aren't getting to Cole. Like the money seems to be there.
Yeah, I guess we'll see it once we talk about like hitters and all like ownership and stuff. Because I haven't looked at hitter ownership too much, but I'm assuming we're seeing a lot go to the expensive bats. Yeah, looking at some of these guys, I'm seeing a lot of Coors.
Rays, Reds, Astros, Yankees are the top four that I see.
Yeah, even Coors they're not even priced up that much. Like Arenado's 18, and the Cincinnati guys are really cheap and also really popular. But yeah,
anybody that we didn't touch on that you think is sort of slipping through the cracks, a better play than their ownership entails?
Domingo Herman, I like at 11%. I'd probably rather get to Smith if I was just doing one lineup, but if you're doing 10, I think having a share or two of Herman might be a way to differentiate yourself. Another really talented arm. You're not getting the crazy discount, but Toronto does strike out a lot versus righties. And it looks like people just aren't really going to play him. And then another one who is popular on other side, maybe not talent-wise, but just price-wise and ownership. This one's a little bit confusing to me. Chase Anderson at 7%.
Yeah, $28. I'm not entirely sure that I want him in 1 out of every 10. Again, especially if Lamet is 30. I guess it's a good spot, right? You know, the Giants aren't particularly good from an offense perspective, but the game's not in San Francisco. It's in Milwaukee. So I think that Chase Anderson is probably better than a $28 pitcher. I don't need him. I mean, would I prefer him to Wainwright? Sure.
It's just like, okay, Wainwright's getting all this ownership and more expensive. He's in a pick'em game, and Chase Anderson's sitting right there for $5 cheaper, and he's a -187 favorite.
Yeah. Projected with a bigger projection than Wainwright in Alex's model, so hard to disagree there. I think we're going to be able to build a lot of really interesting lineups, whether that's paying up heavily at pitcher and still getting there, or seeing what we can get out of that Robbie Ray Lamet pairing.
Yeah.
Any interest in Sonny Gray for you? I have to ask for Adam. It's in his contract.
$33 Sonny Gray in Coors, no ownership.
It's just scary, right? Like, it's not, if I told you that Sonny Gray K'd 10 today, you'd be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but it's not like he's even like 7% owned where that could hurt me.
Right.
I mean, I think it's just unnecessary risk on a 13-game slate for that. So,
I agree.
Like if I had 150 on a different site, then maybe if he was priced proportionally to $33, but I don't know. I don't think you need to take that risk with 10 lineups on Yahoo.
I don't disagree, man.
It's certainly not cash. So anybody watching, don't think about rostering Sonny Gray in cash.
Speaking of cash, you ready to build a cash lineup?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of LaCroix are you drinking right now?
This is I've been on this cran raspberry. I didn't even like cranberry juice ever, and now all of a sudden I just really like it. So like just cranberry juice and cranberry LaCroix. I don't know. I've been drinking this for a couple months. I'm sure I'll switch.
Little cranberry vodka in there as well.
Yeah, on the Friday shows. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty good idea for tonight. So usually have a beer or cranberry vodka or something on the Friday shows.
Dude, I cannot stop it. It is not Friday in my head. It is 100% Monday, which is refreshing, but
I feel like I've been working because I've been watching. I have been working because I've been watching so many YouTube videos about trying to figure out stuff for XL, and
By the way,
wanting to.
don't be afraid to reach out.
Oh, I know, but I it's like stuff I can figure out.
Sure. Oh, I know you want to get there first. Like,
God, it's
more accomplishing if you get there on your own.
yeah. So I've been able to figure out everything I've been trying to figure out, which is nice.
Okay,
but,
good.
Like I'm just like staring at my computer even more than what I usually do.
I know that feeling. All right, let's build some cash lineup. So let's move this over here. So this is the same sort of process we do every Friday for this show. We're going to build a cash lineup and take a look at some different GPP options, and we'll just go through the process that we would go through if we were going to be doing the exact same thing. Cash is tricky today because I think that there are multiple options, and I don't really feel like that's the case all that often. But you can talk me into Cole, Ray, or Lamet, and that will create a very different structured cash lineup. I think that Cole has to be in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you just take whatever points he gets you, and like there are so many value bats that we're gonna be able to figure it out pretty easily.
Robbie Ray is 100% in, right?
I think Cole and Ray is probably the pairing. Like if we needed $6 and we thought it was worth it to upgrade one hitter, then you could maybe go with Lamet.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like Cole's just very clearly the number one arm on the slate.
Agreed.
So
sometimes you don't want to get too cute.
Yeah.
So Cole in, Ray in. We've spent $98. So we have 102 left, $12 in salary per position. I've got the position players loaded up here. Now we just need to figure out who's going to be first in. Austin Meadows is automatically going to get put into this lineup. I'm not even going to take any arguments from you. He's $9, which is incredible. If I sort Alex's projections top to bottom on hitter, Austin Meadows has the 12th highest projection of all hitters on the slate. He's $9. Yeah. I can see on my screen 29 hitters in this sorted order. He's the only one in single digits. He's the only one under $13.
Yeah, so he's gonna put it like he's just gonna go in the lineup. Yep. Like I don't think he's coming out.
No, there's no way to upgrade that.
Right. The only reason you wouldn't have Meadows in the lineup is if you're just going with three like really good outfielders, like the highest projected outfielders, because you're paying down for Lamet and Ray, and you're just not having Cole in your lineup.
Right. If you have Trout, Judge, and Yelich.
Right. Which you probably could do, actually.
It's probably not out of the realm of possibility.
No, it's really not.
Okay, so I would say that Meadows has to go in. Yeah. I would say Didi Gregorius stands out to me at $13. He's projected just barely behind Meadows, 15th highest projection of everyone that Alex has, and at $13, that's the average remaining salary. We haven't even gotten into like the $7 catcher that we need to play or something along those lines.
Oh, we don't need to play a $7 catcher today.
We don't? No. I haven't looked at anything else. I'm just looking at the cheapest guys in Alex's. Basically, I've sorted by Alex's projections. I'm looking at cheap salary and guys that are already owned.
Sure.
Gregorius projected for 22% right now. But if anybody's standing out to you, I jammed Austin Meadows in. So the floor is yours on the next one.
Okay, so we've got Meadows, and I think Gregorius, I agree with you.
Okay.
At least to start with, maybe we could upgrade to like Story or Lindor or someone.
Right.
We really needed to at the end, but I think that's a really nice placeholder.
Didi Gregorius, higher projection than Francisco Lindor today.
Does he really?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. I was doing the cheat sheets. Those were like the two guys that
by a 1/10 of a point.
Yeah. So that makes sense. If we so like third base and second base and then outfield are all going to be tricky with our last two spots. I think for catcher, like Gary Sanchez is $15. So yeah. 7 implied total. I mean, Actually, let me see what Alex has for his implied total. Because sometimes his is higher, and his model hates Aaron Sanchez.
I think everybody hates Aaron Sanchez today. I had 6.8 this morning.
Let's see.
So I would assume that Alex has like 7.1 or 7.2 or something.
7.2.
Okay.
7.2. So you can find these on the MLB.lineups.osmo.com page. That's a free page for anyone, even if you're not a sub. I will drop that link in.
There you go.
So use that as your lineup page, bookmark that, do whatever you need to do. You can find Alex's actual totals on there for free.
Yep.
So sometimes they differ from Vegas, and that's why he makes, lots of money doing this.
Very, very true. I would say the only other option for us at catcher would be like $9 Buster Posey.
Yeah, when I was doing the cheat sheets and I was running crunches for this, there wasn't even Zunino was coming up a little bit, but
Sanchez came up 21% of the 600 lineups that I ran. Next closest guy is Zunino at 14.
Wow. I got when with no cap, just like optimal lineups.
Yeah.
Using Alex's projections, I ran 37 lineups before I cut it off. Sanchez was in 33 of those.
That makes perfect sense to me.
So he's just like $10 underpriced, I think.
All right, so we've got Sanchez in. I don't think that we're going to have too much to talk about here. Scooter Gennett, $11, 37% expected ownership at second base. Seems to be the cheapest guy that we're going to go to unless we need to take like a really big haircut into the single digits. That's still below the average of what we have remaining. I guess we can talk about whether we would want Altuve for $2 more. Similar ownership, just slightly higher projection, but I think Scooter's probably the best value option.
Yeah, Scooter's the best value, I think.
He was the second most owned second baseman to come up in my crunch behind Altuve. Obviously, Altuve getting a little bit of a boost by being attached to the rest of the Astros as well.
Yeah, I think we're going to be on one of those two. So
put Scooter in for now, knowing that we have $2 to spend. We have $54 remaining, first base, third base, and 2 outfielders to go.
Okay.
Third base is expensive today.
Yeah, third base is tricky. And I'll post the cheat sheets in here. I'm looking, like the only cheap guy I saw that was grading out kind of well for Alex was Jake Lamb. But
guy I got the most in my crunch, you may have heard of him. Goes by the last name Suarez.
I've heard of him.
Okay. He second highest projection for Alex, 21% ownership. So right now we have Arenado at 22%, Suarez at 21%, Moustakas at 17%. Those are the 3 highest owned third base options. Those guys aren't super cheap, 18, 16, and 17 respectively. If you just sort Alex's projections from top to bottom, Matt Carpenter might be the guy that we need to look at, $11, projects to hit leadoff. It's a spot where it's kind of tricky to pay up for some of these guys. We might want to leave third base to last to see what we need.
Yeah, I say we leave third base. I think I agree with that.
Okay.
Just see what we have. Because first base, I don't know if there's a clear option, but there's a couple of very good ones.
Also, we're getting Scooter Gennett in Coors, which is not the worst thing in the world. And another thing to keep in mind, as I mentioned, Matt Carpenter potentially at third base. We do have Robbie Ray as our pitcher. So
yeah. I wouldn't have an issue with that on a huge slate.
No, Matt Carpenter in the leadoff spot is not going to take me off of a pitcher or Carpenter. Now I don't need to stack against him and start the pitcher, but I think we can get there in a cash game.
Right.
Man, even the top of outfield is expensive unless like Derek Dietrich stands out as someone that's getting a lot of ownership at a cheap price. Chris Davis, $11, getting a little bit of love. Any outfielders that you're seeing?
Dietrich was the one that was coming up for me a lot. And then, Davis. Let's see. Avisel Garcia, but he's batting 5th. I don't know if that's our best option.
is getting a little bit of love, $11. We would want to take Chris Davis before we took him.
I think so. I mean, Dietrich was the guy I was getting the most.
Yeah, Dietrich, $1 cheaper than Chris Davis, but actually a better projection in Alex's model. So maybe we slot in Derek Dietrich, and that's another Cincinnati bat. I don't think we're mad about getting Coors, guys. I think we slot in Chris Davis as of right now, just to get an $11 outfielder in there. Then we have first and third with $33 left.
Okay,
we know third is a little tricky, so maybe we should take a look at first. And this one's pretty easy. I don't think that we're gonna have much to talk about.
On first base?
Yeah.
Is it easy? I don't know.
I think we have no choice.
Daniel Murphy?
G-Man Choi, $9. He's projected for 9.2 fantasy points. That's ninth highest at first, but only a point behind Encarnacion. 28% ownership, the highest projected guy as well. What are you thinking about Choi?
That's not bad. I got a different guy, but you mentioned him.
Is it Encarnacion?
Yeah, Encarnacion.
That doesn't shock me. Highest projection, only $16, which is reasonable. That would give us $17 to spend at third, and based on the guys that I know we were looking at before, that will work. So
that does.
If I put Encarnacion in and I hop back to third, we have $17. We can use Mike Moustakas or Suarez. Suarez with the bigger projection. We'll give you your boy. We'll get a third Cincinnati bat, and we've got a cash lineup with $1 remaining. It's pretty tasty, too.
That is pretty tasty.
Cole and Ray. I don't think anybody's going to be freaking out there. We get a 3-man Yankees stack. Sanchez, Encarnacion, Gregorius. This is a Yankees team with a north of 7 implied total. We get a 3-man Reds stack. Jeanette, Suarez, Dietrich. 3 Reds bats in Coors. One off Austin Meadows in Tampa Bay at just $9, which he's just priced wrong. And then Chris Davis in Oakland, $11. I guess in theory we can upgrade off of him. Is there anybody above him for $12? I don't think there is.
No, I think that, we can do a couple of things. This is a good cash lineup. I think it's going to project near the optimal in basically whatever projection system you're looking at. But, we said third base was tough. If we wanted to just punt it, there is one guy that Alex has as being pretty decent value.
Joey Wendell?
Yeah. And so this is why I like using Fantasy Cruncher if you're playing cash, because he would never be a guy projected to hit 7th. He's never a guy I'm looking at.
No.
But he does project pretty well. 5.4 implied total. It's hot in Baltimore. It's Dylan Bundy on the mound.
You trying to say Dylan Bundy's not any good?
No, he's good. He's usable. He's probably going to have a long career because he can strike guys out, or at least righties out.
Yeah.
But as we know, very big home run problems for Bundy. So taking a hitter that's mid-salary on a position that we think is pretty tough might be an interesting idea, because then we can upgrade one of our cheap outfielders to, I don't know, Aaron Judge. Ever heard of him?
Not familiar with him. Tell me a little bit about him. Imagine if I didn't know who he was.
Yeah. Some people that do this really don't know anything about the sport. That's just a data point. And maybe that's a little bit tougher to do that these days, but I know back in the day when DFS was the wild, wild west.
I think it's pretty easy to do in baseball. It's harder to do. I find it really difficult to do in hockey.
I would think basketball. There's almost no way you could do that in basketball, right? Because you have to know the rotations, and if you're trying to project minutes.
It's pretty tricky in basketball. Hockey gets me because of having to also pay attention to lines and not naturally knowing if that information is right or wrong.
Oh yeah,
if you see a hockey player's name, Like if we just name a center on some team, you probably know who his most likely wing pairings are, right?
Right.
By
But
the end of the season.
Yeah, but if you have Fantasy Cruncher, they have all the line combos for you, and you can just like you could be really good at NHL, or you could be a decent at NHL, just not knowing a thing about it. I think.
Oh yeah,
Because you don't have to make.
I get nervous thinking that I'm not going to get the right information. Like when there's a switch and some guy's moving from the first line to the second line, I wouldn't naturally notice it. That's the thing that has paused me from like wanting to play hockey, is that I wouldn't know when something was wrong.
Yeah.
Whereas like nothing's really wrong in baseball. It's a player kind of independent of the rest of his teammates. He can just be a number. And in a way, the NBA can be the same. Where you get caught a little bit is sort of like the mid-tier guys, because you don't have to know anything about James Harden to know that James Harden is James Harden.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his rotation is irrelevant. It's the guy that might play like 26 minutes or 32 where you kind of want to know that stuff.
Right.
Anyway, we made that little journey. If I take Chris Davis out, I take your boy Suarez out, put Joey Wendell in, that allows us $21 at outfielder, enough to get one Aaron Judge. So would you prefer Suarez, Chris Davis, or Judge, Joey Wendell?
Alex has Judge Joey Wendell as a better.
Okay.
Very slightly better, like optimal lineup by 0.04 points.
Okay.
Actually, those were. So the two lineups we just made, if we made that 2v2 swap, we would upgrade by 0.04 points. Those were the top optimal lineups. Actually, the other one would be, instead of taking out
Dietrich
that's
and
right.
put in.
We would have Davis, Dietrich, Meadows with Suarez, and this one we have Wendell, Judge, Dietrich, Meadows.
Gotcha.
So they're, essentially the same, but
here we go. Good question for chat.
Sean B, what's your top stack for today? That one.
I wish we could have people comment on the video while we're live, but unfortunately comments don't open. But after this, if you're watching this after we are live, be sure to drop into comments, who would you prefer as a cash pairing?
Mm-hmm.
Eugenio Suarez and Chris Davis of the Oakland A's. I don't want anyone to think it is a different Chris Davis, because this answer gets a lot easier. So Eugenio Suarez and Chris Davis of the A's, or Joey Wendell and Aaron Judge. Who do you think is the better cash combo? Leave that in the comments section. We'll check it out. We'll see what the split ends up being.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's going to be... Actually, I think more people are going to vote for Davis Suarez because it seems more balanced. Like, Wendell is not super appealing to people, which makes sense.
You know what we should do? We should play this cash lineup every Friday.
Well, why wouldn't we?
And reevaluate it the next Friday to see how we did for the rest of the season. We'll have like what, 6, 7 more, something like that?
Yeah, but 6 or so, depending on what the schedule is like when NFL starts.
Well, Friday will be fine.
Yeah, no one does NFL content on Fridays.
What I mean is there's not a game that night. Like Thursday is big because of Thursday Night Football. At least Friday's a little tame. It's easier to get out the Saturday, Sunday stuff.
Yeah.
I like it. Unless we're going to start playing high school DFS, and we're going to be playing Friday night high school football games.
I'm sure it's been thought about.
You probably do it in Texas.
Yeah, they're basically professionals. They don't go to school there, right? That's what they say.
I wouldn't. I barely did. And, well, I wasn't an athlete. Well, I wasn't an athlete anybody cared about. I think we need to build some GPP lineups now.
Let's do it.
Getting a lot of Judge Wendell answers in chat. What's really funny is that I think on the surface I prefer Suarez and Davis.
Like, I would think that projects out better.
I feel like that combo has a higher floor.
Yeah.
Although Chris Davis hits 247 every year, so maybe I'm wrong.
Right.
All right, I'm going to clear this lineup out of here. I've got 600 six-man stacks crunched out in Fantasy Cruncher, ready for us to take a look. We need to find a pairing, but let's first think about it in terms of the team that we want to stack. So, chalk as of right now, as we mentioned from the beginning. Rays, Reds, Astros, Yankees. Reds, obviously, because of cores. The Rays, I assume, are just stupidly priced. Yep. Real just ridiculous pricing on Tampa today. Is there a team that stands out most to you that you want to start with? I bet my wife and her friend are very much enjoying the pool right now. Thunder sounds like there's a stampede on my roof.
Oh, you're getting stormed there? All right, well,
they don't stop here during the summer. It's just, it'll come in and then clear out and come in and clear out.
Yeah, that's the life. Let's see here. I mean, I think I'm going to just play a ton of Yankees tonight. So we can just see what we want to do. What kind of stacks did you say you did?
I did 6-man. So I got
naked.
I got 90 of 600 Yankees. Plenty of stuff to work with here.
Yeah. I got
you get a few
500. So I got all the Yankees.
Although I probably got a bit more Dallas Keuchel in these stacks than you did.
No, dude, I did get a bunch of Keuchel.
Really?
Yeah, Alex seems to like him, or at least he grades out as a decent value. So
the boss man's smart. Well, if you look at the projections above him, you have to go all the way up to Caleb Smith before you get a projection that is higher than Keuchel's. And then if you ignore Robbie Ray, you've got a whole other gap until you get to Dillinson Lamet. So it's only Ray and Lamet below him, and it's all the way up to Caleb Smith. So he's kind of on an island.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's going to be a guy that's in my mix, I'm sure, but he's just not a high upside pitcher, which is the problem. You've got all these guys around him, Ray and Lamet and, well, Caleb Smith, that are all guys that can get 10Ks. I just don't think that's realistically a possibility for a guy like Keuchel.
Nope. Same page here. All right, so let's start doing this. We're going to do the Yankees. They are mildly chalky, depending on who you're looking at. A lot of ownership going to Sanchez, Gregorius, Judge, Encarnacion. Not a ton going everywhere else. Highest used pitchers that I got in all of the Yankee stacks. Lamet, Chase Anderson, Robbie Ray, Dallas Keuchel. Is this a spot where we just go to Lamet and Robbie Ray and just assume that by getting a Hicks or a DJ LeMahieu or one of these guys that are barely owned for the Yankees that will be good enough? Or did you have a different pairing for pitcher that you were looking at?
No, it's basically those guys. It's Ray, Anderson, Lamet, some Wainwright, Justin Vargas snuck in there. Yeah, Keuchel was kind of my next guy, but that's basically the pairings I got. Nothing weird there.
Okay. Let's do that then. I'm going to grab just the Yankee stacks. Do you know if I filter, will that export just the filtered? Nope, it won't.
You can select just the filtered.
Only filtered lineups. Nice. You know more of this than I do at this point. That right click and select everything below blew my mind.
I taught you and Alex something about Fantasy Crunch. That was a good day.
I did not know that was a thing. All right. So can I create empty crunch, copy to crunch? All right. Perfect. I want to be able to filter pictures as well. I think Robbie Ray has to be the guy we start with. Don't really care too much who the second guy is if it means that we're a little bit more unique. So I'm just going to leave it with Ray locked in on a Yankees 6-man. So let's grab Ray. Are there Yankee bats that you're like, okay, these guys have to be in there no matter what?
I mean, look. So the Yankee stack is chalk. Like, you got Sanchez as chalk. You got Gregorius and Judge and Encarnacion all as popular options today. But like Gleyber Torres batting 7th or expected to bat 7th or whatever he's going to bat at 2% is wild to me. especially if you're expecting the stack to go off, like he's going to have as many plate appearances as anyone today. That's not on the Yankees. If you can play this slate out a ton of times. So I really like Gleiber. I know he's expensive. I know he's a 7-hole hitter. He's not really a 7-hole hitter though. And he doesn't project like one today. So he would be a guy I'd really want to get in to Yankee stack. And you're already different at 2% there.
Yeah. So I grabbed Torres now. I did filter for Sanchez, Gregorius, Judge, Torres. So those 4 guys plus Robbie Ray. I still have 20 more lineups to go. Who stands out most for you after that? Encarnacion only getting 10% ownership. Aaron Hicks, 6%. Both guys I think are viable here.
Yeah, Hicks and Encarnacion, those were going to be my next 2.
Do you have a preference between the 2?
Probably Hicks.
Okay. And then we need one more Yankee bat.
So we have Sanchez, Torres, Gregorius, Judge, Hicks, correct?
Sanchez, Torres, Gregorius, Judge, Hicks, correct. Just Robbie Ray in at pitcher for right now.
Okay.
Encarnacion is in a big chunk of these next 17 lineups. And then who else do I have? Well, I have one DJ LeMahieu lineup.
Just one? That's crazy. I mean,
just one with that other 5-man pairing and Robbie Ray.
Okay.
Let's see what it looks like with Encarnacion since we can get him.
Let's do that.
That leaves us with another pitcher, a third baseman, and an outfielder. We have $64 remaining. I actually have 16 lineups of this combination right now. A lot of Dallas Keuchel, Chase Anderson, Lamet, Jason Vargas, Kyle Gibson, Caleb Smith, Yanni Chirinos. We want to look at the Caleb Smith lineup?
Why not?
Because that's a little bit different than every other one of them there.
Yeah.
Okay, we're dumpster diving at third base. So we already know the Yankees stack. We know that we're adding Caleb Smith. We get Chris Davis, the good Chris Davis, Oakland's Chris Davis. And then Matt Tice. I'm not entirely sure how to say that. Third baseman for the Angels.
I've never even heard of this man, but
Tace, Thaiss.
TH. Oh, Fantasy Crunchers. Not helping here.
He's projected to hit 8th for the Angels today.
Okay. Yeah, actually not a bad value. Min salary.
Yeah. He's $7 player. We're not actually. We can upgrade to an $8 player. We can upgrade. Here's one for you. We can go to a different $7 player. Quite possibly, we're gonna mix our cash lineup up. Joey Wendell.
There you go.
So we can go Wendell, Chris Davis, 6-man Yanks, Caleb Smith, Robbie Ray. That feels like making paper tonight.
I think that is what the kids would say.
And that's what I would say since I'm clearly a kid.
What does that make me then, an infant?
I think so, yeah. I think so.
Oh, Jake. Earl in YouTube chat says.
I like this lineup, though, for real. I don't know what I would change. I certainly don't mind a Chris Davis, Joe Wendell one-off scenario. Rio Ruiz is available. Neil Walker.
Man. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
that's a pretty good GPP lineup, especially to be able to get 2 pitchers in Smith and Ray along with the Yankees.
And a 2% owned bat in the Yankees lineup. That's really good.
Yeah. And Chris Davis against Ivan Nova. I don't care where they're playing that game. That is not a bad Yankee stack. Do we want to do a core stack?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Which side?
That's a really good question.
It's gonna vary from site to site.
I feel like a 4-4 core stack, Rockies Reds would be fun.
Okay, you want to just game stack it up?
Maybe. I hadn't thought about it, but that's got to be easy to do. Let me add a 4-man stack here.
All right,
because that'll be unique, right? Or at least should be.
I would think so, yeah.
Okay, so let's try a game stack out here. Cincinnati, Colorado. Well, actually, I don't need that. Shouldn't be both. Cincinnati on this one, Colorado on this one. Exposures are fine. Randomness is cranked to the gills. Let's see what we get. We'll see how chalky it ends up being. Well, it got to 100 pretty quickly. So not going to have any trouble doing this. Cranking out even more now. Do you like the idea of game stacking this course game?
If it comes up organically, I just would hate to do that like on purpose. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like I mean, if I ran 4 4s on Yahoo, I would expect it to come up, but I wouldn't try to run this.
No.
So I ran 300 4-4 Reds Rockies. Top pitching combination: Robbie Ray, Dinelson Lamet. Surprise, surprise! Here we're going to be talking about these guys a lot. There's a reason they're getting the ownership that they are. Story, Arenado, David Dahl, Tony Wolters, Votto, Jeanette, Nick Senzel, Derek Dietrich.
No Puig, no. Did you say Arenado was in there?
Arenado is in there.
Okay. No Puig, no Story.
So basically, at least from the Rockies, anybody outside of Arenado, Story, Blackman is in single digits. So just getting Tony Wolters in there is helpful.
It is, but you're still playing Tony Wolters.
But that's a very true statement. Very true statement. Dietrich owned. So Nick Senzel only 4% owned because he's $19 today.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that. I mean, this is a lineup that's probably not going to be owned.
Right. I mean, you just put in 1 or 2 of these guys that are lowish owned, and no one's going to have that combo. By the way, Cincinnati just came out with their lineup. So
really?
Yeah.
Anything interesting?
No Dietrich. Cincinnati.
Cool. Great start.
Senzel batting 6th. Is that expected?
Well, he was projected to lead off and wasn't getting owned, so I can't imagine that that's going to get any better for him.
Yeah, Jeanette batting 5th. Winker leading off. Yeah, so man, what time does this game start at? Why can't every team be like Cincinnati?
7 o'clock, I would imagine. No. It's going to be 8 and change, right?
Coors home game, 8:40 Eastern. KC has their lineup out too. What's going on? Everyone just ready to go after the All-Star break?
I appreciate it, I guess.
I mean, Minnesota's been coming out with their lineup like really early all season, but that's on East Coast games. Like they're playing in Cleveland, so that makes sense.
Special thanks to the Reds for putting that out in the middle of this video, though.
Yeah.
Completely ruining everything we were just doing.
Yeah, we got to put Dietrich in cash. Nope.
Yeah. Wah.
So
right. Let's look at one other team that isn't the Rockies or Reds then.
Okay.
And then we'll get out of here because we're already at 150.
Yeah, I think just going back to that cash lineup, if you use the one that I said was like the optimal one,
right,
then you still have $1 left over with Dietrich in. I would just go up to Davis right now.
Yeah, super easy.
Cool
that our comment on the video. No, that one's still good, right? Dietrich wasn't a part of that.
Dietrich wasn't a part.
That's helpful.
No, we're still good on that. Let's see. A team that I haven't looked at the top stack tool yet. Like I haven't done a breakdown, but Minnesota, Milwaukee, 2 teams that they have decent implied totals. Actually, Minnesota doesn't against Clevenger, but Milwaukee has a good implied total. I just thought they might go pretty under-owned, but it looks like on Yahoo, they're actually going pretty over-owned right now.
I've got my top Brewers lineup here. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Grandal, Thames, Moustakas, Arcia, Yelich, Kane.
Okay.
That's a Yanni Chirinos, Robbie Ray pairing.
Nice.
I think it would be very easy to, pivot to Caleb Smith if you wanted to. Plenty of options there if you weren't a big Yanni Chirinos fan. How do you feel about these two one-offs? Austin Meadows, $9 outfielder for the Rays, seems to be showing up from time to time. I wonder why that is. Decent second baseman as well. Jose Altuve, I think that's the pronunciation. Just $13. This guy can't get priced up to save his life. $6 cheaper than Nick Senzel. Same price as Keston Hera.
I think I'd say Altuve in that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean that direction.
Yeah,
just a hair. I don't mind that. I get one with Keuchel. I get one with Caleb Smith that has Jose Abreu and Austin Meadows. I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Swaps out Eric Thames, adds in Keston Hera.
Yeah, just lock in Austin Meadows because he's going to be in every optimized lineup on Yahoo. But yeah, it's. Did we get any like Garrett? Like, let's look at a stack quick that we can do with Garrett Cole.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Let me just filter to Cole, and we'll see who pops up at the top.
Yeah.
And then we'll get out of here. So thank you, Yahoo, for giving us some fun stuff to look at today.
Yeah, and rightfully so, that tournament filled today. I think they upped the amount of guaranteed money or something. I can't remember what I'm trying to say, but it was a bigger tournament is what I'm trying to say.
They increased the prize pool?
That would be better. That's what happens when you take 4 days off and you're worrying about a different sport. So that's what I'm blaming it on.
How much raspberry vodka did you put in that raspberry LaCroix before we started?
I just dumped the vodka right in the ear. But no, that'll be tonight. So by then, I mean, who knows?
So highest projected lineup that I got with Garrett Cole in it also has Mike Clevenger, which is a bit more of a me thing than anything else. 6-man Rays stack with Altuve and Brandon Belt.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, I don't mind it one bit. I also got it with Altuve and Goldschmidt, Altuve, Joey Votto, and Zunino and Altuve.
All the Altuve, baby.
I don't know why I said Zunino and Altuve. Miguel Cabrera and Altuve.
Oh, okay.
The first non-Mike Clevenger lineup ends up being with Robbie Ray. Gives me the red stack, Votto, Jeanette, Suarez, Iglesias, Senzel, Dietrich. Obviously not as interesting as it was a couple minutes ago. Austin Meadows, Mike Zunino.
I wonder how Winker's going to grade out, though.
Is he leading off?
He's leading off. So
probably pretty well.
He's $15, though. So actually, that does change quite a bit.
Well, I assume he's probably slightly owned more than Senzel was at 19, but other than that,
still not super appealing as. Was it Jeanette or Dietrich that was expected to lead off?
It was Senzel.
Oh, okay. Those guys flipped around. All right.
Well, at least that's who I had. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. Nobody was expected to lead off. That's just made up.
It is.
Yeah. So.
Oh my.
I mean, you can get to a lot of really interesting Garrett Cole plus. I mean, you can understand why the chalk happens when it's the sea of Cole, Lamet, Reds, Rays. You see why these teams are climbing in our ownership because you can play the best of everything. You can get a 6-man stack at Coors Field with the highest projected starting pitcher and the third highest projected starting pitcher. I mean, when you can get 2 out of the top 3 pitchers and one of the top hitting stacks playing in Colorado, you understand why ownership goes where it does.
That's right.
It's just too much.
Yahoo increased their prize pool to 12K. That's
nice.
What it was.
Nice.
The DFS Go. Thanks for that information in there.
Much obliged.
I was doing big things. I'm very excited to see these football tournaments. Even if it's not guaranteed overlay, like the management fee free tournaments are where it's at.
I'm expecting them to do one of the guaranteed overlays for week 1 at least.
Yeah, I would think so. But regardless, I think that's going to be the site where I play a lot of my volume, because you're going to be able to get down a lot more. It's football. It's more popular. And
you could set them earlier too. You can get that lineup in at 9 o'clock in the morning and not have to worry too much about what's going on. Whereas here you need to wait for lineups. NBA is, I mean, you got to wait till 6:59.
Yeah.
So there we go. Built a cash lineup, built some GPP lineups, looked at some crunches. Coming up later today, Lofty has the deep dive out, so if you want to check that article out, it's already posted. If you're not a premium subscriber, what are you waiting for? You can use the promo code MLB Strategy to sign up if you'd like, but what you really should be doing is signing up at Yahoo using the promo code Osmo and getting up to $30 in Yahoo Sports Rewards points. Deeper dive, Lofty and Adam coming up at 5 o'clock tonight, and then 6 p.m. Eastern, Jake is back. Chris Spags, live before lock, going from 6 to 7. And I think that's it. Jake, anything else? Anything you need to plug?
Just live before lock, and then you'll be seeing a lot of me this weekend. Emac and myself doing the doubleheader tomorrow.
There you go.
So that will be good. But yeah, thanks to Yahoo. Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. Looks like we got a pretty good crowd in here, even without Alex. So I guess we must be the reasons you guys are watching, not the number one player in the world. But
or we tricked him and they thought he'd be here. But I'll take it however we can get it. We do appreciate you guys stopping by, joining us on this Friday afternoon. Judging by the way that I used to go to work, watching this show would have been something that I would have done at 1 o'clock on a Friday to get me out of whatever else it would have been. All right. Well, that's it, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you later. Best of luck tonight. Oh, yeah, and hit that like button.